Today, it involves all the world of Marvel and some of my favorite Marvel. Kellerman, what are we talking about today?
X-Men.
Woo!
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Before we start, that's the best theme song. It's a top 3 theme song of all time.
No question.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. That X-Files and fill in the name later. Fantastic theme song. I will say, we're not talking about the Patrick Stewart world of X-Men. We're not talking about the James McAvoy world of X-Men, because it has been announced and or rumored that when this whole different phases, whatever phase we're in of Marvel right now, all the multiple dimensions that you're seeing, when that saga comes to a close, and it is planned to be coming to a close, they are starting a new phase of Marvel with a new X-Men team, a new cast, a new origin, a new whole world. We'll still have Wolverine, Professor X, all those characters, but they are going to be recast. And right now, the rumor has it that the director of Thunderbolts will be the man in charge of X-Men, because, as we said last week, Thunderbolts was excellent. Do you agree, Alche, that this man should be in charge of such a pivotal moment in Marvel history with a whole new X-Men?
Yeah, I think he absolutely nailed it. Obviously, I would have preferred Ryan Coogler, but it's also rumored that he was offered it, and also rumored that he's holding on to Black Panther 3. A lot of rumors swirling.
A lot of rumors.
But if it's not going to be Coogler, yeah, I think he's got it.
We've also heard rumors, Kellerman, about a bunch of names being thrown out there. Young Hollywood is in a tizzy. All those agents, those power brokers are on the phone right now with Marvel saying, hey, you know who would make a great Storm? My person right now.
That's right.
There's a lot of names that are out there. Have any of them excited you in any way?
I think that, people have been speculating about Wolverine, I think, the longest.
That's the biggest one,
and
probably.
I've seen a lot of really interesting names,
Yeah.
such as Daniel Radcliffe was one of the more interesting ones that I think people were really going after.
I think it's crazy.
That's interesting?
Yeah.
It's
interesting because I think it's so wrong.
I love Daniel Radcliffe. Don't get me wrong.
Great actor. I don't think he's quite right for Wolverine.
When they do the Ant-Man reboot, Daniel Radcliffe will be perfect.
Now, Daniel Radcliffe is more jacked than anyone talking to you on a microphone right
absolutely,
now. But
sure.
that's not a Wolverine.
I'm getting closer, though. I've been hitting that gym, Daniel.
Now, because of that, because of the new X-Men, because of Marvel taking a new step into the future, because of all these names being floated around Hollywood, we thought now was a great time to dive into this scouting report and play a little game, because Alche and I are really fantasy football nerds, so we want to add a little bit of sports into this world. We dragged Kellerman. He was yelling and hooting and hollering. He didn't want to be in a fantasy box office league. He didn't care what an auction draft was. And we convinced him to do it, and he's loved every second of it.
Now you love it.
So now, on this show, we are drafting a new X-Men cast due to the off-the-field, off-the-camera Professor TJ himself decided to pick who went first. And, of course, I won that game, and I will be going first because I also won the Fantasy Box Office League.
Unrelated.
And I also am leading the over-under charge when it comes to picking over-unders. And you know what? Didn't we play a game here last time where we wanted to decide what Ryan Coogler's next project would be, and we all gave a pitch to TJ? And I have to check my notes, but who won that one?
I'm excited for this draft, guys.
This guy won that one. I've yet to lose anything on this show, and even though I've said it right now, TJ's going to pick someone else because he, again, will be picking at the end who drafted
edits this
the
podcast
best
again?
team.
Is it me? Can I edit this entire section out? I think I can.
I think that's a long enough intro. We are drafting an X-Men roster. Whatever I say first, an actor and a part, the other players cannot pick that actor, cannot draft that part. And in the end, we are giving you, the listener, the viewer, a whole new cast for the X-Men movie based on young Hollywood right now.
Well, how many rounds are we doing this?
We're each doing 5 picks, so 15 X-Men characters in total. They don't have to be X-Men, they're just in the X-Men universe. Bad guys, good guys, professors, mutants, all of the above.
And before you give your first draft pick, I do want to say that ever since the very first X-Men movie came out, I have been debating with people that the X-Men movies we have, all of them, every single one of them, simply pales in comparison to whatever MCU, Marvel Studios' official X-Men movie will be, because not a single X-Men movie that's come out has actually been anything close to the source material of the comic books.
Oh, wow.
And I know for a fact that MCU is going to rein that in, be closer to the source material than previous X-Men projects. And Marvel also has a really strong track record with casting.
Yes, absolutely. They back up the Brinks truck, and they're going to need to with my first pick.
Robert Downey Jr. is hard to beat as a Tony Stark.
Now, I will also say, and thank you for clarifying before we began, we're going with the traditional Professor X's older generation of X-Men.
Comic book X-Men.
Yeah, comic book X-Men.
Or X-Men animated series.
Correct.
Also.
Which is also where my love for X-Men came from.
Same.
So if I'm
Everyone
going to cast some characters based on what I know them from that X-Men animated series.
That makes sense.
So shall we dive in?
Let's dive in.
It goes Tony, then Alche, then Kellerman, and we'll be doing a snake draft. He'll be coming back with more picks. Each of us get 5 picks. We are casting the new X-Men. And with my first pick, it goes Tony, Alche, Kellerman. Then it doubles back on a snake draft, Kellerman, Alche, Tony, and I'm diving in first. And when you said, Kellerman, that we want to keep these true to the comic book storyline, I gave a little bit of a look. Because this storyline takes place with some of these characters, some of their backstories, I will say, take place a long time ago. And we are now going to be making this movie probably around 2030. And in order to age these characters correctly, you might have to mix with that a little bit. One of my favorite characters in X-Men is Magneto.
Of course.
Sure.
And I think he is a pivotal point of how the X-Men story is told from the mutants' perspective.
Yes.
And I believe you have to have a heavyweight actor to carry that role. And someone that has gravitas and can play good and bad. I thought Fassbender was perfect when he was younger, Magneto.
And Sir Ian McKellen.
Absolutely. This one's definitely an actor's actor. He has been a big part of DC, but he has not touched Marvel. My Magneto and our Magneto is Michael Shannon. That's how we're starting
Oh, that's a good one.
That's how we're starting this.
It's a good pick.
Michael
it's a good
Shannon.
Pick. I am going to do his counterpart here.
Good.
And go with Professor X.
Good.
Obviously, I don't know that it's possible to beat the casting of Patrick Stewart.
I know.
It's pretty
Impeccable.
damn near
Yeah.
impossible.
I know.
But I do think this person comes close. I'm going to cast Stanley Tucci as Professor X.
Interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
Were you just thinking of bald?
I was going to say.
Did I Google bald actors in their 50s? Maybe. But he's got a wisdom. He's got a kindness.
I'm going to start with Storm.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think I've got a banger for Storm.
Okay.
Cynthia Erivo.
Ooh, good pick.
That was my second pick.
Come
Yep.
Very
on.
good.
Come on.
That is better than mine. I will say it outright.
Who was yours?
Mine was going to be Journey Smollett, but I like.
Thank God you got Cynthia Erivo in there.
We got
Thank
Cynthia
God.
instead.
What do you mean? Thank God, Journey Smollett's a great actress.
We're not casting any Smollett today. Great job, Kelvin.
Okay, my next one, and this is an actress that you guys had actually talked about for another role when we were kind of like starting this conversation. But I think that Margaret Qualley would make a perfect Kitty Pryde.
Oh, yeah, she would.
I'm going to say she's our Kitty Pryde.
Interesting.
Shadowcat, if you will.
It's interesting that you went casting Kitty before casting the bunch of other names that most viewers are going to know.
I only do that because I think it's so perfect.
You didn't want to waste anything else.
I didn't want somebody to use her for another
Fair enough.
character.
I understand.
Fair enough.
I understand. All right, Alche.
Okay.
Bring it home, buddy.
Okay. I'm going to cast one of everyone's favorite characters. I'm going to cast Gambit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Austin Butler is our Gambit.
Okay.
And I think he's
He's got the hair for it.
He's got the hair. He's got the scraggly
The smolder.
voice.
Great
the
pick.
smolder.
Sure.
Great
The
pick.
angst.
That is a good pick.
I think he would crush
Yeah, I love
Gambit.
that. He'd have to learn the accent.
He doesn't know how to get rid of the Elvis accent, but
Exactly.
I'm still in for it.
Man, we've gone this long and Wolverine hasn't been cast.
I
I got
know.
2 in a row.
Okay,
I got
okay.
2 in a row. And you know what? I'm going to do it. Because the other part of X-Men that is huge and told great through both really the X-Men animated series and through the Hugh Jackman movies is the sort of war between Wolverine and Cyclops. The war that they have between each other. And long in both the comics and the X-Men, I shouldn't say the comics, the X-Men animated series and in the new ones, Cyclops has been the prototypical cuck. I don't know if I can use that word here, but that's what you think about when you think about Cyclops. And to me, I want to have
Cyclops.
I want to have Cyclops
Yeah.
be a little bit more of the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, Wolverine is more powerful than him. Yes, Wolverine is a foil to him, but Cyclops can still hold his own and needs a little bit more respect in the world of X-Men.
I completely agree.
so
He was
agree.
absolutely, in the animated series, he was one of my favorite characters. In the movies, he's my least favorite character.
So
He's whiny in all
Yeah.
the movies.
I'm going to cast two people who are vastly different from each other, but I think will play off of each other. And I think specifically the people watching will either be attracted to one or the other. And they can be Jean Grey making their own decision here. So I'm going with both Cyclops and Wolverine.
Who's it going to be?
Wolverine you've heard of before. Wolverine's been in Deadpool before. It's Henry Cavill. I want to see Henry Cavill as my Wolverine.
Okay.
Period. Wholeheartedly, he's made for the role. And his counterpart, Cyclops, again, I want a more stunning, someone that you can put on a poster and sell tickets to and not think that's a cuck. And I'm going Cyclops is Jacob Elordi.
Nice, I had that too.
That is-
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is my Cyclops to play across
He's
Henry
solid.
Cavill, and that's 1 and 2, the two main men in this movie.
Well done. I had that as well for Cyclops. I absolutely hate your Wolverine pick. He might be my grievance at the end of this that I'll air out. We'll see.
Okay.
I loved this character in the animated series, and he's been heavily underutilized in
Tell me it's
the
more.
movies. It's Beast.
Oh, okay. Kelsey Grammer, a pretty good one. Kelsey Grammer.
It was fine. I think about this voice more than anything because obviously he's going to be in makeup.
All right, let me imagine it.
Daniel Day Kim.
Oh, okay.
I think he could have
Yeah.
the intelligence, but also he's a strong, strapping man who could get all blue and hairy. You know,
Gotta love Blue and Harry.
I think he could be our sort of our genius in
Yeah,
Beast.
Beast is a character that I feel has been short shifted in the movies, just because a big part of his character in the comic books is his struggle between looking like a beast but being a soft, sensitive person.
Yeah.
and that hasn't really been. Especially in the more recent movies, he can change back and forth whenever he wants. It completely
100%.
removes that element. Of his
I think Daniel
character.
Day Kim has it in him. I think he'd be a great Beast.
I think that's a good one.
So, Callum, we're going for you for 2 picks, but we're pretty much halfway through the draft, so let me recap with you. Magneto and Professor X are Michael Shannon and Stanley Tucci. Storm, Cynthia Erivo, and Kitty Pryde is Margaret Qualley. Gambit is Austin Butler. Wolverine and Cyclops are Henry Cavill and Jacob Elordi, and then the Beast is Daniel Day Kim. Callum, you have 2 picks in a row.
Okay, for Iceman, because Iceman, who has always been somewhat of an underutilized character in the movies, I really want to bring him forward with a powerful actor, a little name like Timothy Chalamet.
I love it.
Well, that's a big name for Iceman.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think that
You're going to have the X-Men movie be X-Men, the Iceman Chronicles? Because that's the only way Timothy Chalamet is signing on for X-Men.
Maybe Timothy Chalamet wants to bring some depth to Iceman.
Ooh,
It'll be
that's
great.
a big name.
each X-Men... Every name we've had has been a big name.
Yeah, I mean...
You're using Superman for Wolverine. We're not using big names.
because Wolverine's a huge X-Men. I want Iceman to be more pivotal part. Chalamet coming in for Iceman is like, who's he playing? Iceman?
Who else are you casting Chalamet as?
That's I have-
Exactly. Iceman, he's a perfect Iceman. You
yeah,
would pick
it's okay
Kellerman.
for him to be a smaller, skinnier man.
Yes.
You can't cast every actor in Hollywood in this thing. Some of them are going to be smaller parts.
This
for
is
I
a
smaller
like it.
fantasy
actors.
draft.
What's your next pick?
Now, I started this with Kitty Pryde,
Yes, you did.
and her love interest is Colossus. And for Colossus, I would cast Patrick Schwarzenegger.
It's a good pick.
Damn it.
It's a good pick. It's a good
Tall, muscular,
pick. Yeah.
handsome. Metal him up. I think he'd be awesome.
I loved Jubilee.
Oh no!
Oh, good one. Oh, I didn't even think of Jubilee.
Anna Sawai from Shogun. Emmy winner, Anna Sawai.
Okay.
She's cool.
Yeah.
She's crafty. She's
that.
fun.
I can't believe you guys gave me not only Cyclops and Wolverine, but you've given me Jean Grey as well.
You know what? Those
Who-
are not
who
my
are you
favorite
doing?
characters.
Who are
That
you
doesn't mean...
doing?
They're such pivotal characters in these movies,
it's
though.
incredibly
Yeah, you
important.
take them. Enjoy.
I am casting Jean Grey with my 4th pick, and my 5th pick is still a question mark. But Jean Grey, to me, it's not the perfect fit when it comes to like how you consider her. But hey, dye her hair red, and I think she'll be perfect because again, Jean Grey needs to have that great side and also that dark side that we know is coming. Whenever you do an X-Men story, you have to have some type of Phoenix in there, and you need to have an actress that can pull it off. I'm putting Kaylee Spaney as my Jean Grey. That's number 1.
Can you tell people who that is?
Alien Romulus, led Alien Romulus. She was in what was the war movie with Civil War. She was in that movie. I think she's a phenomenal young actress. The last one I'm going with is Rogue.
Yeah, I figured.
And this is a little bit of an off the board type pick, but I had this person as Jubilee. We're going to have to make a quick change. And instead, Rogue, it's not going to go to Mikey Madsen, who I had as my original Rogue. Instead, it's going to go to, because I've fallen in love with this girl on The Last of Us. And I am making Rogue Isabella Merced, who plays Dina on The Last of Us.
She is so good, dude.
I think she is one of the best young actresses in Hollywood, genuinely.
I'm
I
glad
think
you
she
didn't
is
go
the
with
next,
the other actress from that show.
I think she is the next it girl in Hollywood, and putting her as Rogue would be a definite different twist on Rogue. I think she'd be amazing at it. Alien Romulus actress as well. I guess I just loved Alien Romulus.
I guess.
You
I
really
think
do.
that's it.
If you haven't seen
That's good.
the latest episode of The Last of Us, she gives one of the best performances I've seen on TV this year. She is so good in that show.
She's phenomenal. Alche, your final pick.
For my last pick, I am going to go with Nightcrawler, who is also my favorite character to play with in the X-Men video game.
Zip, zip, zip.
So fun.
Zipping around.
Zipping around, bopping around. Are you guys familiar with the actor Jarrell Jerome? Have you seen
I'm not.
When They See Us? He was the lead in the series When They See Us. He is an excellent, excellent actor and has a wonderful quirk to him that I think would be stellar for Nightcrawler.
Okay.
Take my word for it. Enjoy.
Okay, Kellerman, you're ending it all. You're ending it all. There's still some big names, big characters that haven't been cast here.
I'm going to cast Angel, one of the original X-Men characters.
I had Angel.
And that's going to be Lucas Gage.
Nice one. Nice one.
He's got the look. I think just really that's all you need for Angel. He's not a prominent character, but he's just got to look rich and handsome and good with his shirt off. Put some angel wings on that kid, and I think he's got it.
He definitely looks rich.
Our final X-Men roster. Magneto is Michael Shannon. Professor X is Stanley Tucci. I gotta say, we started off great. Storm, Cynthia Erivo. Kitty Pryde is Margaret Qualley. If you've never heard of Kitty Pryde, you're not the only one. Gambit is Austin Butler. Wolverine, Henry Cavill. Cyclops, Jacob Elordi. The Beast, Daniel Day Kim. Iceman, Chalamet. Colossus is Pat Schwarzenegger. Jubilee is
Anna Sawai.
Jean Grey, Kaylee Spaney. Rogue is Isabella Merced. Nightcrawler is...
Jarrell Jerome.
And Angel is...
Lucas Gage.
And that is the new Hollywood version of X-Men. Let
It's
us
a
know if you
strong
agree. TJ, you have each of our picks that we've all made to cast this movie. All of us put 5 names on that paper. Who do you think did the best at casting the new X-Men?
I think the standout picks come from my man Cheese. So I'm going to go with Cheese as
Wow.
X-Men because Stanley Tucci as Professor X and Austin Butler as Gambit are divine.
Yeah, terrible end
Cynthia
of the draft, but hey.
as Storm was unbeatable.
Terrible end of the draft for Cheese, but it's enough to get him the victory.
That's not true.